Welcome to day 9 in 40 seconds for 40 days. Yesterday we quoted the Gemara that says that Hakol b'yedei Shemaim chutz mi'yirah Shemaim, that everything is in God's hands except for fearing God. You'll note that Gemara also leaves out another aspect, and particularly another aspect of our relationship with God. It's true that we have to choose to fear God on our own. That's totally dependent on our free will. But what about loving God? We know that we have the obligation to love and to fear God. So if fearing God is specifically in our hands, then it must mean, by implication of this Gemara, that loving God is not in our hands. It's actually in God's hands. Now, if that's the case, what does that mean? How could that actually be? I think the answer is that we have to turn to another pasuk, another acronym for the month of Elul. As we mentioned a few previously in one of the previous days, there's an additional pasuk that Kitzur Shulchan Aruch quotes. He says, "Umal Hashem Elokecha es levavcha ve'es levav zarecha." Towards the end of Sefer Devarim, there's a pasuk that says that God is going to circumcise our hearts. How is God going to circumcise our hearts? Why is He going to do that? It says the pasuk further. It's not fully quoted in the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, but the way the rest of the pasuk goes, "Li'ahava es Hashem Elokecha b'chol vavcha v'chol nafshecha leman chayecha," that God is going to circumcise our hearts so that we will be able to love God. And the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch specifically pulls out the words Elokecha es levavcha ve'es. Those four words have the acronym of Aleph Lamed Vav Lamed, aka Elul. Evidently, not only is it that loving God is not in our hands, but says the pasuk that God is going to go out of His way to make sure to circumcise our hearts so that we'll be able to have the capacity to love God. Why is it so hard to love God? Such that it's not in our hands, and such that God has to circumcise our hearts. That's a strong language. Why does He have to do that to help us love Him? Shouldn't it be an easy and love that we should be able to expend with ease and not with such difficulty? And I think the answer is that when it comes to fearing God is a very easy decision. Either you do or you don't. You make the right decision or you make the wrong decision. To implement fear and to encourage someone to fear someone else does not take many tricks of the trade. All you got to do is lap a few punishments on and do a few extra things to make someone feel a little bit scared, and then you can ignite fear. When it comes to love is a much deeper emotion. We feel love for something else, for someone else, if we love ourselves. And the truth is that not all of us love ourselves in the way that we should. We have to love ourselves more. We have to care for ourselves more. And if we do, only then can we actually be able to love God. But so many of us struggle so much when it comes to loving ourselves. So says God, I'm going to help you do it. And that's what the month of Elul is all about. Learning how to love God by learning how to love ourselves first. Take this opportunity to wish everyone a beautiful Shabbos.